Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new mechanic. And today I'd like to show you guys the very first kill streak reward system for your PvP maps. This is a mechanism I'm really excited about, because it involves using the brand new tracker device, which allows us to track either a counter with channels, or eliminations or times eliminated, making it the perfect match to set up a system where you get perks when you get a kill streak, and reset when you die. And the most wonderful thing about this new device is that it can be set to work on an individual level, so we won't need to set up a device for all 16 teams. Hooray! Okay. Let's just jump straight into it. The first thing we'll need to do is add a team and inventory settings device. And like I just said, we'll only need one of these that will apply to every team. So put it down, leave the team to all, change the grant items on respawn to yes, because in this system, we'll give the kill streak reward when hitting X amount of kills, but if you die, you'll lose the perks again, and get your normal starter weapons again. There are many variations to the setup, but that's the one we'll be going for this time. Now scroll all the way down and set the when team member eliminated transmit on to channel 1. And the when enemy eliminated by team member transmit on to channel 2. So in other words, if you die, send a signal on channel 1, if you get a kill, on channel 2. Easy as that. Now finally, drop some weapons in here while you're at it. This will be your default loadouts everyone has. So I'll just drop a deagle and a sticky in it, so that I can easily kill myself and test the reset function once we're at that point of the mechanic. Next up, grab one of these shiny new tracker devices and throw it down. Go into the options and let's analyze and go step by step through these options. The first option is the stat to track, and go ahead and set that to channel. The reason we're using channel and not eliminations is for two reasons. One, it's easier to test this while setting up, because we can use coins or buttons instead of eliminations. That way you don't need someone else to test while you're setting this up. And the second reason is because I was actually running into a bug when using the eliminations instead of channels, that when 2 or more people were already on a kill streak and en route to get an even higher perk, they would start completing and resetting each other's trackers. It was pretty weird. Should have worked, but it works with channels, so let's just use that until Epic figures that one out. The next option we'll have to set is the target value. This is at how many kills the reward will be granted. So in this case, let's set it to 3. The next option is the valid team option, and the difference between valid team and target team is the valid team means which team the tracker applies to. So which team can track its progress. The target team means which team you should kill to increase your progress. But in our case, we can just leave both as is. Now the sharing option. This one is really cool and I talked about it earlier. By default, it's on individual, meaning that the progress is tracked for every person individually. But you can also set it to track on a team-based level, or even for different types of maps or adventures or something like that, you can track all progress. But since in this game mode, we'll want to do something when a player gets X amount of kills, we'll leave the when target is reached option and winning team to their default values. But you could change this to either end the round or do nothing. Now the next option that we'll talk about are some of the HUD options. They're really cool because they actually show the progress, and it looks a little something like this right here. As you can see in the top left corner, you'll see the progress of our current objective. So let's set this to kill streak and let's pick a reward for reaching 3 kills. As an example, let's just say at 3 kills you get a grappler. Okay, now for the more advanced things, the channels. Remember, channel 1 gets called when we die, that's our reset channel, and channel 2 gets called when we get a kill. And with that, let's bind channel 2, our kill channel, to increment progress, meaning every time we get a kill, we make some progress. Makes sense, right? And now bind channel 1 to reset progress option, because if you die, you have to start over. And lastly, for reasons and bugs that are way too long to explain, set the assign when receiving from also to channel 1. Since we'll be using multiple tracker devices for every tier of kill streak we want to grant a reward for, it'll ensure that after you die getting a kill streak, you can re-obtain it again, but starting from 0. And lastly, set the when complete transmit on to channel 75. The reason I'm using 75 is to clearly make a difference between the channels we'll use for tracking the kills and the ones we'll use for granting the rewards. To be able to test this already, very easily add some coins to your map that transmit onto channel 2 when picking them up. Since that's also the channel we'll be using when getting a kill, we can use it to simulate this and test our mechanics so far. And just copy this coin a couple more times. Let's test this. So, we start and see our progress on the top. When we pick up a coin, we make some progress, and now we're on 1 out of 3 there. But if we die, then our streak got reset to 0. If we then pick up 3 coins, we'll see we completed our tracker. Great! Now, what are we missing? Well, first of all, the rewards obviously. And secondly, to start tracking the progress to our next kill streak mark, which could be 5 kills and then 8 and then 10 or whatever you want to set up. So first, the rewards. Now for this, I'm not going to use the item granter, but I'm going to use the class devices. Because that way we could set up some extra perks outside of just granting items as well. Things like movement multiplier, or instant reload, or gravity, or so many cool things. Just imagine you get 4 kills and you get a little bit extra movement speed. Okay, start with the class designer. Throw it down and set the identifier to 1. Then either drop the items we want to grant when the progress is completed, or change the setting you want. Like I said, movement multiplier could be really cool, but to easily, visualize what we're doing and how we're setting it up, I'm going to drop one of the grapplers in here. So 3 kills gets you a grappler. Now, right next to it, drop down a class selector. Set the identifier to 1 as well. Change the time to switch to instant so that we instantly get the perk. And change the restore health and shield to no. Or if you want them to heal to full when they get that kill streak, then leave it on. That could be cool as well. Could be an alternative perk, especially when combined with increasing the maximum health and shield or something like that. Anyway, change the visible and volume visibility to off, or just place this entire device somewhere outside of your map, whatever you want. And then finally, set the change player to class when receiving from to channel 75, which is the channel that will be called when a player completes his tracker. Okay, back to testing this out. Pick up 3 coins, et voila! You get the awarded grappler. Now, let's die, grappler gone, and we can see that the progress, again, is set to 0 and available to regrind. Pick up another 3 coins, and we have the grappler again. Now, let's chain this up and add higher perks to it. So copy the tracker device. Change the target value to how many kills you want the player to obtain before he gets the next reward. So not total kills needed, but the kills remaining. So the first perk was at 3. If we want this next one to be at 5, we'll have to set it to 2, because 3 plus 2 is 5. If you want a new reward to be given every extra kill, then just set it to 1. Now, very important, set the assign on game start to no in this one. Next up, in the description, let's reward the player on the 5th kill with a dance grenade. Leave the increment and the reset to channel 1. Change the complete transmit on to channel 74 so that we can bind a different class to it. And now in addition, we also need to completely remove the player from this tracker when he dies. So set the remove when receiving from to channel 1, which is our death channel. And finally, to start this second tracker, set the assign when receiving from to channel 75. So recap. Increment when we get a kill, reset and stop tracking. Reset and stop tracking when we die. Start tracking when we completed the first tracker, therefore we use our channel 75, the completion of our first tracker channel. And when we complete it, transmit on channel 74. Finally, copy your 2 class devices as well, and set the identifier to 2. Then the change player to class to this new completion channel 74, and on the designer, just drop a dance grenade in. And then before we can finally call this a wrap, go into your island options and make sure the revert to default class is set to player eliminated, so that it gets reset and removes all your rewards when you die. Time to go test it and play with it. Chain more perks to it, start building your own kill streak rewards. Like I mentioned before, I think some of these options in the class device could be really cool to use, like extra movement speed, but you guys are better at this than me, so go out and play with it. You can also use it with coins or sentries to make mutations on this mechanic. If you need any help, then just come join my Discord. The link is in the description below. I do a lot of giveaways, and every time you're in need, just someone will help you out, and if nobody is, then I will. Don't forget to use code Fortnite Creative Tutorials in the item shop, and please help me out and just hit that subscribe button. I'll see you guys soon with a lot more mechanics.